Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, girl, I'm so happy that you are here. My name is Robin and I am a licensed therapist and executive coach, and for this segment, I am the author of Before You Take His Name. This is a Christian perspective to saying I do. And every time I'm doing a video on this particular segment, I want to remind you all that I am not here to try to be your dating coach. It's important that I say that because I have been married over 20 years. And I often tell people, child, when I was back in the day, back in the day when I'd have to walk through snow to get to school. No, but back in the day, there weren't even no dating apps. I met my husband in college and we married about 4 years after college. And so I know things are so totally different. But if you want to date with discernment, these are the videos that you want to make sure you're leaning into, because I have been in the trenches with women for over 20 years, helping them navigate the dating world. And I am telling you, I've seen women compromise in ways that they soon begin to regret. And so I am here to help those who want to engage and seek a healthy relationship in a way that honors God and honors who they are. And so in my book, Before You Take His Name, I created or identified 14 questions you want to ask. So here is question number 4. If you haven't already watched the other videos, they're right here in the playlist, so you will be able to find them. But question number 4 is, are you free to be your authentic self around him? Are you free to be your authentic self around him? I did not mean to close it because I'm going to actually read a snippet from this, but I'm going to go to my notes and then I'm going to read a snippet from the book that I think is going to really help you. But one of the things, the first thing I want to talk about when we talk about are you free to be your authentic self, is what I often find is that women will begin to perform and they don't even realize they are performing until it's too late. And this even happens in marriage, quite frankly. You can sometimes perform and perform, especially if there's been some type of betrayal and you all have decided to stay together. So this is for the married women who might be watching this, and you decided to stay together, or those of you who were maybe married before and you saw this pattern. You began to perform to make everything okay. And often you look up and you have molded yourself into somebody you never intended to be. And so I want to share with you, I think I identified 5 signs that you are not fully being yourself. You are not fully leaning into who you are. Here's number 1. You're filtering every response to match what you think he wants to hear. You're filtering how you respond to either be more agreeable or to match what you think he wants to hear. As I am going through these signs, I want you to be prayerful. It's just you and I here. Nobody else is here. And I want you to ask Holy Spirit to illuminate any of these that resonate with you. Okay, it's just you and I here. Nobody else has to know. Okay, you can message me privately to say, Robin, that one right there was me. So that's the first sign. You are filtering every response to match what you think he wants to hear, to even be more agreeable. Or you hide parts of your personality that you think he won't like. Number 3, you minimize, oh my gosh, you minimize your accomplishments to avoid intimidating him. Sis, can we stop there for a moment? If you have to water down who you are in order for him to be confident, you will be doing that for the rest of your time with him. If you have to water down, shrink back in order to make him feel more comfortable, you're going to be doing that for the rest of your time with him. Number 4, another way. You may not do all of these. You may just do one, and one is too many. Here's another way you might not be fully being yourself. You hesitate to speak truthfully about your goals, about your dreams, about what's important to you. Even you might hesitate to speak truthfully about your boundaries. I did a video on here that talked about 3 things you want to consider when it comes to boundary setting. So I want you to go back and watch that, and let me make a note because I will actually put that in the video. So in the description, because I want you to go back and watch that. But you find yourself hesitant to speak honestly about your faith, about your dreams, about your goals, or even about what's not okay with you, for you, right? That's a sign that you're shrinking, that you're not fully being yourself. And here's another one. You feel anxious after being with him, like, whew, I'm tired. Now I can be myself. Let me read an excerpt from the book that is aligned with that. This is on page 38, and I say this. I had a very good friend who was married for about a year. Whenever she and her husband were together, I didn't recognize her. I hope my friend is watching this. Hey, girl. I didn't recognize her. She acted like a completely different person around him. I clearly remember thinking every time I saw them together, who is this girl? Now, while her lack of personal freedom was not the sole cause of their divorce, I believe it was a red flag that could have warned them of deeper issues. Listen, I am telling you, if you find yourself molding to be who he wants you to be, shrinking back from who you truly are, I am telling you, that is not true connection. That is not what you want to do for the rest of your life. One of the greatest pieces of advice I got at the point of I do was, whomever you both are right now, can you live with that for the rest of your life? There is a joke that says women get married hoping to change their husband, and husbands get married hoping their wife never changes, right? And so when I heard the advice of who your husband is, who your fiance is right now, can you deal with that from now on? That was great, great wisdom, because I am saying I do right now. We know things will change, but what if he is exactly who he is right now? If I have to contort to fit who you want me to be, then I am not free to be myself. Ladies, think about it like this. Think about it like this. When we get home, y'all, do not leave me hanging. When we get home and we are ready to get comfortable, what is the first thing we do? We take that bra off, don't we? Whew! I can be free. Honey, you don't want to have to perform in the boardroom, to code switch, to put on your professional voice. You don't want to have to do all of that and then come home and have to keep performing. You want to fully be who you know you are. Now, when I say that, it is important for me to indicate this, or to say this. Yes, growth is important. One of the things I tell married couples all the time is that I want them to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Growth is important, and our relationship should create in us a desire to be better. Listen, there's some ways I have grown in this marriage. I was never the entrepreneur type. Being married to this man, child, I've been in my own business now for many, 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 many years. I never would have thought that would be me. And so it's okay to evolve. Listen, the whole point of my YouTube is to help us elevate not just what we do, but who we are. Growth is critical for you becoming who God wants you to be. But God is not asking you to turn into someone else, and neither should your man. It is not for you to become somebody that you're not. Growth is about stretching within your purpose and becoming a greater and fuller and more evolved version of you. It's not about performance to meet someone else's standard. Do you understand the difference in that? It's very important that we understand that, because real love creates room for us to fully be who we are, to fully be who we are, to fully be who we are, not to create us or to not cause us to put on a mask. That's not real love. And if you remind me, if somebody comments, because remember, I'm in these comments, if somebody comments and asks me to share with you all the definition of a healthy relationship. I will. It's one of my favorite definitions. I wish I wrote it. I didn't, but it's one of my favorite definitions. And so if somebody comments, I will definitely do that. And so, of course, we want to grow. And even in growth, that requires some compromise. There are some dynamics about who I am that I have to compromise in a way to help my marriage be stronger. My husband compromises and I compromise. But this is not about me becoming somebody I never was meant to be. I really hope you understand the difference in that. And if you have some thoughts about it, comment below and let me know. Okay, so we talked about the higher question is, are you able to fully be yourself? And as we're talking about these 14 questions, this is really for women who are dating. You may not be engaged to somebody right now, but if you are dating, if you are in these dating streets, I always say in this segment, I am talking to 3 different people. I am talking to the person who is engaged, I'm talking to the person that is dating, and I'm talking to the person who ain't got nobody in their life right now, but one day they want somebody. So I want you to adjust these suggestions in that way. Okay, so we talked about the signs that you're not fully being yourself. We talked about how growth is important, but I want to talk very quickly about why we do this anyway. Why do we find ourselves possibly becoming somebody we were not meant to be? Number one, often is because we're afraid of being alone. Listen, I always say that married women want to be careful of acting high and mighty when talking to single women. Listen, marriage is not some indication that you're a greater woman. Let's be clear, okay? That mindset is so unhealthy. So it's not that you are if you're married, that you're some more evolved woman. No, it's a lot of single women who are more evolved than married women. But we have to be honest that sometimes we compromise because we are afraid of being alone. Or you've been told that you're too much or that you're not enough. Either you're the person who's been told, girl, you do too much. And so you're trying to water yourself down, or you're trying to perform because somebody has told you that you're not enough. So either there's a fear of being alone, a fear of being too much or not enough, or you want the relationship to work so badly, you're willing to bury a part of yourself. You want the relationship to work so badly that you're willing to bury a part of yourself. And we got to be honest. Listen, over here, we are honest. We look in the mirror and we tell ourselves the truth. Listen, nobody is here but just you and I. And so you can be honest about which one of those is the reason. But listen, you're not doing him or yourself any favors by disappearing and being somebody different. Okay, let's read another excerpt from the book. So watch this. One of the things I said is this, and this is again question number 4, and I say, if in your relationship you feel pressured to act contrary to your natural temperament, to dress in a way that makes you uncomfortable, or even speak differently, it indicates a rough future ahead. I want you to have a safe space. And when I refer to a safe space, I define that as an environment where you can be honest, transparent, and vulnerable without fear of judgment. Watch this. Safe spaces don't just happen naturally. They must be intentionally created by mutual agreement on boundaries and expectations. They must be cultivated by nurturing accountability, humility, forgiveness, and openness to growth. And it has to be protected, shielded from outside influences that could harm the relationship's health. Safe spaces take time to develop, but once established, they contribute to your emotional freedom. I want you to be free in your relationship, and that's what a safe space creates. Now, this is the last point I want to make from the book, and then I have one more thing to share with you. I go on to say, this leads me to another critical point. Before you can show your true, authentic self to your partner, you must first know and understand your own real, authentic self. It is unfair to ask a partner to fully accept you as you are if there is no consistency in who you are presenting yourself to be. Listen, sis, you can't expect him to fully embrace you if you aren't consistently being you, if you're being somebody different every time he engages with you. That is why we do this work over here. This is not the only part of our YouTube channel. I want you to look at the other segments where I am really focused on helping you, say it with me, elevate not just what you do, but who you are. So what does it mean to authentically be you? It means you speak honestly. It means you show yourself emotionally. Even when you disagree with him, you are not trying to be some idea of a perfect woman. You laugh freely. You pray openly. You show your corny side. You show your goofy side. You show your serious side. You are fully who you were created to be. So again, the big question is, are you free to be your authentic self around him? You want this relationship to be a place where you are free, not a place where you are performing. All right, sis, that's it. If there was anything that we shared or that I shared in this conversation, will you like this video? It moves it up the algorithm. And then in the link in the description, you will see a link to grab before you take his name. You can grab this so that you can walk through all 14 questions. Remember, this is not for somebody this is not only for the engaged woman. The engaged woman would greatly benefit from this, but definitely someone who is dating or wants to date in the future. This is your go-to guide to help you date with discernment. All right, y'all, I'll see you next time.